So, Sleeping Beauty. Summary of the movie. Also, fun story. Very beginning of the movie, there's a whole song called Aurora, about Aurora, and yet nobody knows this bitch's name.
Well, she has like 5 different names. Her name's Aurora, her name's Sleeping Beauty, her name's Briar Rose.
Yeah, it's true. They call her Briar Rose. They call her Rose until the end of the movie. Do you know how much that pissed me off that these three fairies knew her name? Right? They have to call her Rose. I get it. You have to call her Rose this whole time. After you tell her who she is and what her name is, why are you still yelling out Rose when she's about to die?
Well, are you going to respond to a name that you learn of that day?
Great point.
Also, my father has called me by my brother's name.
That's another fine point.
I feel like after 16 years of raising, 15, because she was a year old at her christening. Yeah. After 15 years of raising this girl and calling her Rose, to expect them to remember to call her another name.
That's another fine point. Great point.
Yeah, he runs through the list, and I have been confused with my brother, who is 8 years younger than me.
And a dude with a beard. So, fair. I get it.
Yeah.
Fair argument.
Yeah, so names are tricky, especially for parents.
That's fair. Nope, that's fair. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and do the walkthrough. Sleeping Beauty starts off with a song called Aurora about the Princess Aurora, another storybook opening.
Yeah.
We learn that Aurora was born at 1 year. She's going to be christened, and all the people of the land, another king, comes in to give her gifts. The king has a son named Philip. Philip is betrothed to her on that day to his 1-year-old bride.
Not to his pleasure.
Not to his pleasure, because when he looks at that basket, he looks in that basket, he's just like, oh my God.
his face was great. He's just like, oh.
It's like gross. It's a baby.
It is hilarious. So from there, the three fairies come in. We have Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Fly down and give her their gifts in that order. Flora gives her the gift of beauty. We'll talk about that later. Fauna gives her the gift of song, so she can sing better than anyone ever because magic. Merryweather gives her nothing because then Maleficent flies in and is like, oh, I never got my invitation. I'm gonna pause. Flora, when Maleficent says I wasn't invited, is so stupid. So fucking dumb.
You were wanted.
What is wrong with you, woman?
Was that Flora or was that Merryweather?
Which one was it? I thought it was Flora, because Flora was the one up front. I thought she was like, you weren't. Oh, it may have been Merryweather, because Merryweather is very much.
It was Merryweather, I'm pretty sure. It was the blue one.
So stupid.
So
they
dumb.
all literally 2 minutes later say, oh no, her magic's way stronger than ours. We can't do shit about this. Why would you tell her that then?
Yeah.
We're
gonna get to Merryweather being a dumb bitch. I love her.
Anyway. So they tell her this, and Maleficent's like, alright, no, that's cool, don't hurt feelings, whatever. Except for the day that she turns 16, she's gonna touch a spindle and fucking die. Then Merryweather finally gets to give the princess her gift, which I will go into a fan theory later of what her original gift was supposed to be. We're gonna talk about what she actually gave her. She said instead of dying, she's going to fall asleep. Cool, fine, save her life. The fairies come up with a plan then to take the princess, raise her on their own in the forest away from all danger. Which makes no sense because they already got rid of all the spindles in the entire kingdom.
They burned
everyone
single spindle. So they must have had like a heavy import tax on clothes and textiles during that time.
Oh, for sure. Because they couldn't make their own at all. Again, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So they then take the child, which I feel for the king and queen because their child is now gone.
Yeah.
No idea where she is for 15 years in the forest being raised by these fairies. We come up on her 16th birthday. The fairies are planning a party of some description. They send Aurora, whose name is Rose at this time, out in the forest to pick berries, which she had just done yesterday, so that they could try horribly to bake a cake and to make a dress because they don't want to use magic so as to not draw attention from Maleficent. They do it anyway. Maleficent's crow sees them, goes and tells Mama, and so then they get caught. The princess Aurora finds Prince Philip in the forest. They sing, they fall in love, they dance. Fairies are pissed off at her for talking to a stranger after they told her not to. They sing the song Once Upon a Dream, blah, blah, blah.
But he wasn't a stranger.
We met before.
This bitch.
I'm going to talk about that line later.
We're gonna get there.
So, then what happens is they tell Aurora who she is. She's actually a princess. She can't marry this guy because they don't know it's Prince Philip. She has to marry a prince. She's pissed. They go to the castle. Maleficent finds out, goes to the castle, very easily puts Aurora under the Imperial curse.
Pretty much.
Brings her up the stairs to touch the spindle. She passes out. The fairies try to chase after her, find her body on the floor. Maleficent leaves. Maleficent leaves because Prince Philip also leaves to go back to the cabin to have the party that he was told about by Aurora. Maleficent's there, gangs up on him with her minions, takes him back to her castle in the mountains. The fairies go to the castle to save Prince Philip. They save him. He fights, stabs the dragon. Oh, Maleficent turns into a dragon.
Yeah. That happens. We're gonna get there.
He stabs her in the chest. She falls off the mountain and dies. What?
Continue.
He then is told to go up to the tower. He kisses Aurora. She wakes up. They get married. Hurrah. They go have a bunch of children.
You did, however, miss the part where the fairies put the entire kingdom.
They put the whole kingdom to sleep!
For 100 years.
Bitch!
For 1 century. They put the entire kingdom.
Was it actually 100 years? Because when Maleficent was telling that to Prince Philip, she was saying, oh no, you're going to be here for 100 years because the whole kingdom is supposed to be asleep. And then you're going to be gone as an old man, can't do shit about it. Sorry.
I think that they put them all to sleep until Aurora woke up.
Which Maleficent says is supposed to be 100 years, but the movie definitely doesn't show that. Because they literally just fly to the mountain and get the prince right after Maleficent tells him that story.
Well, she's going to wait 100 years to let him go save her.
Yes, exactly.
That's the whole thing. So I don't think it was originally planned to be 100
It wasn't
years.
planned to be 100
It was supposed
years.
To be forever.
They said it's going to be until she wakes up. Maleficent says it's supposed to be 100 years, but that does not happen. But yes.
Yeah.
And it's Flora. I will say, Flora comes up with this idea. They're like, how are we going to tell the king, his daughter, after all this time, still blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're not going to tell him. Put him all to sleep.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So, we're not starting with the princess this time, because the princess is a little, we'll get there.
She's in the movie for 30 seconds. She doesn't do crap in this movie.
Yeah. So let's start with the fairies.
She sits there and looks pretty. That's her job.
It's so bad. Alright, so we're going to start off with the main characters of this movie, which definitely are not the princess.
No, that would be the fairies.
The 3 fairies. Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather.
Yeah. So Flora.
The leader.
Yes.
Red leader.
That's literally one of the notes I have down for her, is that she is the leader.
Yeah, pink leader.
She, so I think they're sisters?
They could be sisters. I mean, they fight like sisters, and they're the only 3 good fairies, quote unquote, as the movie calls them, in the entire movie from what we see. So I think they are.
They might be. I don't know.
They're
but
at
point
least
is,
the same gene pool.
Yeah.
Which would connect them to his family in some way.
Point is, she gets into a fight with her fellow fairy
Over the color of a goddamn dress.
over the color of a dress, and is smart. The fairies are smart enough to plug up all the cracks and crevices in the house, but stupid enough to fire their magic to the point where it's going up the chimney and out into the world.
Where a crow can see. It's hilarious.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb. So yeah, that's kind of what I had about her.
But she is also smart enough where she's the one who comes up with all the plans.
Yes, but do you remember her first plan?
Okay, yes, but still.
For those of you who haven't seen it in a while, her first plan was to turn Aurora into a flower.
Yes, it was. Not great.
For 16 years.
Not great. But she turns it around and says, all right, fine. How about we just take her and raise her ourselves in the forest?
Yeah.
The only downside to turning her into a flower, mind you, was, but what about when Maleficent sends a frost and kills all the flowers?
Yeah. Not just nature and winter that kills the flowers.
No, the magical frost giant frost of Maleficent's magic.
Oh my god.
Yep, so they come up with that plan, Flora, and it happens, but then again, dumb enough to get caught for...
On the last day.
On the last day.
That is
you
where...
tripped over the finish line.
That's literally where the whole Self-fulfilling prophecy comes into play here.
Yeah.
Honestly, if they just left her in the castle, this would have all been fine.
Really? Like, seriously? So yeah, I put Flora in Gryffindor.
I did too. Yeah, Gryffindor.
Because she's very bold, she's very out there, she's very
much like, okay, look, I don't want to get caught in the fact that we effed up horrifically and that their daughter still just got cursed by Maleficent. So I'm gonna put you on sleep. Let's go.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's go.
Yeah.
She's very much like, her opinion is the right opinion.
Yeah.
She's the best.
Very.
Yes.
She's like, pink is the best color. I don't care what you said. It's the best.
And then they start fighting again at the end of the movie when they're dancing. You just see Aurora's dress turn pink and then blue.
But to
and
be
then pink,
fair, in
and
the
then
end,
blue.
she does win because it is pink. Canonically.
All I wanted was the live action where Fauna just comes in. Both of you. It's Korean. Let's go.
Yeah. On that note, too, connected, I also put Merryweather as a Gryffindor.
Oh, hardcore Gryffindor.
Hardcore.
For sure. So, Flora is the Gryffindor that is not smart and is very headstrong.
She's the one that's like, bitch up. She's also younger than the other two. She's just a little more impulsive.
True.
She's the only one of the three that doesn't have gray hair.
Yeah.
That's why I'm basing that off. Yeah, no, she's very much like, I'm a fight a bitch.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I did not have trouble with her.
Literally fight you.
I did not have trouble with Merryweather.
Flora is just the one that's like, I'm a leader, my opinion's right, yours is wrong, my plans are good, let's go.
Yeah.
Merryweather's like, I'm gonna argue with you, I don't care what your plan is, let's go, I will fight a bitch.
Yeah.
I will cut you.
Exactly, and they're the two that are dumb enough to start fighting and get caught.
And then we have the Hufflepuff of Fauna.
And then we have Hufflepuff Fauna. I liked Fauna. I thought she was very sweet.
She was. She's such a Hufflepuff.
She really is.
Oh my goodness, when she was making that cake.
Oh my god.
Fold
in the eggs.
Fold in lightly? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I love too when they're like, okay, just make the cake by magic. And she's like, so you're gonna, just follow the books.
Because she doesn't know what to tell them to do. Or she has the whole cake built up. And they're like, it's a little awkward. Oh, it'll look better once I bake it.
Yeah.
After the whole thing is built up with candles and icing on it already, she hasn't baked it yet.
Yeah. Also, what did she put in that cake that it's staying up when it's not baked? Because most cake would not stay up, and it concerns me.
It looked, because when she was folding, she used her hands to fold the eggs in, right? So she literally did this and then went down on the dough she was making it the first time. It was like bread dough. Like, that wasn't
Before
cake.
she even added eggs.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
like
no.
cake batter, where you can't touch that and make it look like that was bread dough. I don't know what she did wrong.
I don't know. It was
I don't know
bad.
I also don't know what those seasonings were, but one of them looked like pepper, and I was concerned.
When she was making the cake, it reminded me of these books that I used to read called Amelia Bedelia.
I loved Amelia
Yep.
Bedelia.
She was very, very literal.
Yep.
And if you told Amelia Bedelia, I want you to draw the blinds, she would grab a sketchbook and draw out the blinds that you had kindly asked her to close.
I feel like those books in particular are what caused my middle school and high school, my high school teacher to have us all have to write out a page on how to do something. And if we weren't specific enough, we didn't pass.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of the ones you guys had to do, I don't remember which one I did. You guys had to do make a peanut butter sandwich or something like that. And if you don't tell someone how to unscrew the peanut butter jar, put the knife in jar, get peanut butter on knife, spread peanut butter on bread, very specifically, you didn't pass. For that reason and for this woman here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If
That
it's
makes a
tell
lot
her
of
to
sense.
crack the egg open, dump the innards in the bowl, get rid of the shells,
Mm-hmm.
she will not do it.
This is true. She's very literal.
I did love Fauna. She didn't do a whole lot in the movie, but the scene that she was in was pretty hilarious.
For me, what tipped it over, because she could have just been ditzy like a Gryffindor or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, neither of them are Ravenclaw or Slytherin.
At all.
No.
At all. But what tipped me over into Hufflepuff was that she's the one that wanted to try and reason with Maleficent. She's very much peace-loving, very much like, I'm going to try.
Very true.
and willing to give everyone a chance and very fair play. And I thought that was very much a Hufflepuff trait.
Very, very true.
Fauna was my favorite. I loved Fauna. She
Fauna
was
was
so
great.
cute. She was so cute. Meriwether was fun to watch her get angry. Her little...
It really was. Watching her just get pissed off and everything was hilarious.
She was so angry all the time.
Yeah, that was...
Flora, I was trying really hard to figure out. I struggled with Flora.
I did too.
Like... But then they were just so dumb, and I was like, no, she can't be Ravenclaw.
No, she's making plans, but
she can't be Slytherin.
Nope.
So yeah.
Yep.
That's what I had.
That's the fairies.
Also, really quickly,
yeah.
I would just like to point out that Fauna gave her the gift of song.
That's what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, Fauna gave her the gift of song, which is something like, let me give you something to make you happy.
Yeah, let me give you, yeah.
Flora gave her beauty.
Yeah.
Like, bitch!
Did you look at this baby and say, that ain't gonna work, honey. You need to be more beautiful.
Right?
How did that work in your brain?
Right? And, also, why is that the thing out of everything? How about, intelligence?
Thank you for saying that exact word I was about to say. There is a fan theory that Meriwether was going to give her intelligence because Aurora is not very smart either.
No.
There are some very dumb blonde vibes going through these Disney princesses so far.
Well, all of the princesses have grown up very, very sheltered.
Every single
one. They don't
one.
have those experiences
Nope.
to grow up with.
Up until recent years, these princesses have not been great.
Yeah.
I'd say until the 90s, late 90s is when we
Renaissance Disney era is definitely when princesses started becoming real people.
Yeah.
Instead of ditzy blondes that Disney writers apparently thought all women were supposed to be.
Yeah.
So there's a fan theory out there that says Meriwether, not Floyd Mayweather, was supposed to give Aurora the gift of intelligence before Maleficent bursted through the wit.
I could see it. Wit or wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, because she definitely needed it. Real bad.
Yeah. I will give her, we'll talk about it later, but I will give her the pass of her touching the spindle. We'll talk about that when we get to it.
Well, she was enchanted.
She was hardcore under the Imperial.
Yeah.
Under the Imperial.
It's the rest of her actions in the movie that make me go,
not great.
Not great.
Yeah, her Imperiatus curse moment. Because she almost broke out of it, but then Maleficent was like, touch the spindle. Alright. She's not exactly Harry Potter out here.
Speaking of Maleficent.
Next on the list.
Okay. Here's the villain.
Finally!
Dude, this bitch wanted to make an entrance.
She made a fucking entrance.
Every time she moved, it was just flames and sparkle.
She is the female Hades.
Dude,
that I've been waiting for.
She is. She's so extra. She's so much. She's not nice to anyone. Not nice to her minions. Not nice to anyone except for her crow sometimes. And even then. Even then
she did feel
always...
bad when her crow got turned into a stone.
She did, but didn't she also yell at him at one point?
Oh yeah.
Oh, she was yelling at everybody the whole time because she loved everybody.
Yeah.
She's petty AF.
She's petty AF.
She didn't get invited to the 1-year-old's birthday party, so she cursed it to die at 16.
Yeah. Because the 1-year-old decided who was allowed at her birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I love her, and she's terrifying.
Absolutely.
She's terrifying, and she's evil. She's so scary.
So bad.
She's dumb. She literally went downstairs and gave Philip all the information he needed in order to save Aurora. She laid out her whole plan for him.
Well, okay, I'm gonna throw this out there just as defense's sake. I have to make the point. Every villain does this shit.
What did the evil queen tell Snow White?
Oh, the evil queen never made a talk to.
She could have kidnapped Snow White instead of just immediately killing her and given her the evil speech. The evil stepmother didn't say shit to Cinderella. She just locked her in the attic. She had her locked in a room and didn't bother to give her her exposition through the door.
Great point. Okay.
Out of these
three, that's a great point. But to be fair, out of these three, she is definitely the most extra.
She is the most extra. She felt the need to go down and lay out her entire plan to prove how clever she is.
But she did it, I will say, for a reason. Her whole goal with doing that was to break his spirit.
Well, yeah, but you break his spirit with lies. You don't tell him the fucking truth.
The truth hurts more than lies, honey bunny. I'm sorry. It really does.
Yeah, but okay, to an extent. But you have to like weave it. You have to weave in the truth with the lies. Because if you just tell them the full out truth, now he knows. Now he knows that the love of his life is in the tower. What if she just said the love I know about the woman in the forest?
She went
and
to
she and she fell asleep in the river and she's drowned and you'll never see her again. That would have broken his spirit too. And he wouldn't have known that the woman in the forest was Aurora in the tower and that he needed to kiss her to wake her up and make her free.
That is fair. Again, she is hella extra, right? And yeah, she really was just trying to break his spirit and be extra about it.
Listen to this. The prince did not know that Aurora was the princess at this point.
Nope.
The Maleficent gave him this information and then told him where to find her.
She's book smart. She's not street smart.
She's not. She's really not. She's not practical at all.
But she's really fucking smart. She is the best magic user in the planet, from what the fairies told us.
Smarts versus skill doesn't necessarily equate.
This is true.
That's fair, but she's smart when it comes to magic. Because turning yourself into a dragon is not something you can just do by sheer skill. You also have to know what you're doing.
You have to know what you're doing to an extent, but that could be bullheaded, like, I'm going to do this. I mean, look at the Marauders. They were on Emmaus. That's
exactly what I was about to make, though, because you say this all the time when we talk about the Marauders. Whenever I bring up Pettigrew and say he wasn't a great wizard, you always bring up the fact that he was still an animagus, which is something that you have to be smart enough to know how to do and have the skill to do it.
You have to be a good wizard. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to be book smart. Because Pettigrew wasn't book smart, but he was good at magic.
Yes, I feel like there still has to be some level of knowledge when it comes to this kind of level of magic.
Some level, but that doesn't necessarily make you a book smart person. Because magic itself does not necessarily mean... Book smart would be knowing the theory behind everything. You don't have to know the theory to do it.
That's fair. That I still think she is also... Here's the thing. She knew... Okay, she cursed the baby.
Yes.
She took a while to find it, but that wasn't her fault. She just has some really dumb as fuck minions who were looking for a baby for 15 years.
Yeah.
Her minions were looking for a baby the whole time.
I love that.
Once she figured that out, she had a new plan immediately. Okay, you, go find the blonde. About 15, 16-year-old, here's what you can look for, here's what she's good at, go do your thing.
Also, though, she didn't think to ask once in those 16 years. And she knows these minions. Assumingly, they do other things for her. She's been around them for 16 years. And she hasn't realized they're stupid yet. And she hasn't, like, thought to ask them, like, hey, what are you looking for again? Can you tell me? Remind me?
Again. She also knows how to find... Once she finds Aurora, she knows how to get her. She knows how to get that door open in the freaking fireplace. Imperioed her up the tall staircase, closed the door behind her, made a magic spindle and had her smart enough to know how to make her touch it. Then she was smart enough to know where to find Philip. I want to know where she got the information where Philip knew that he was going to be at that cabin.
The crow.
But how did the crow know?
The crow was listening through the window.
Oh, did she tell the fairies that she invited him to the party?
Yeah.
She did. Okay, cool. Had that information, went and got Philip, because she knew he wasn't going to be at the kingdom at that time.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to be smart to know that when someone gives you information.
Captured him, and then she got real dumb. I hate it, but she got real dumb after that.
I mean, no, I feel like it was a lot of, like, luck and a lot of, like, good situations. I put Maleficent in Gryffindor. I put her as a Gryffindor gone bad.
I put her as a Ravenclaw got bad, but that's fair.
What did you think?
She's both.
Not an answer!
I know, it's not an answer. I kept going back and forth.
I have them both written down, but I put Ravenclaw first.
I can't. She's too dumb for me for Ravenclaw.
I definitely kind of put her as a Slytherin. Don't hate me, because I
do
know
kind of a little bit.
not all villains are Slytherins. But she's cunning. She knows what she wants. She's after one thing. She's after revenge. This entire time, that's what she wants, and that's what she's going to get. She turns herself into a dragon to achieve such means.
Yeah, but she also says, hey, how am I going to keep Philip from reaching the princess? Oh, I know. I'm going to use thorns. Oh, he has a sword. How could I ever have foreseen him getting past my thorns with his sword? She's not practical. She's not street smart. She's not clever either, because that's something that you should have thought about.
Yeah.
That, hey, he has a knife. These swords aren't going to do jack shit.
He has a magic sword. Wait, he was just in the dungeon. Where did he get that sword? There's 3 fairies with him. Oh, shit.
Yeah. Which, by the way, she should have realized because, like, the fairies turned her raven, or is it a raven or a crow?
Both are the same thing?
No, they are not.
They're not?
No.
Then he's a
crow.
He's a crow. Turned her crow into stone. And then also turned all of the arrows, and she saw them turning all the arrows and shit into flowers.
And the flowers and bubbles and shit. They turned the whole rocks falling on him into a bunch of bubbles.
Yeah. I love they turned the boiling oil into a rainbow. I thought that was
Which was hilariously adorable.
That was cute. But yeah, no, she saw that, so she knew that he had the fairies, and she just didn't think, like, hey, they can probably do something.
Yeah.
Like,
well, also because she thought so little of them. Because she knew she was more powerful than those 3 little
some
fairies.
hardcore Voldemort vibes coming off of her right now.
I just don't think she's clever enough.
I don't think she's street smart enough to be a Slytherin, because Slytherins are also very cunning in that sense. I feel like that is also very true. I can see Gryffindor. I can see an evil Gryffindor. I can conceive that, because that was I put down Ravenclaw / Gryffindor. I can see Gryffindor for sure.
Yeah, I just don't. I think she came up with too many just bad plans. She just was not thinking things through. And she had all the opportunity in the world to correct some of these mistakes, and she did not.
That's fair. I guess she was very brash and very, rash with her decisions and just kind of did based on actions and emotions.
And so dramatic.
So dramatic.
And comparing her to Voldemort, who was also very dramatic, he had a lot of plans.
Yes.
They were good plans, but unfortunately people he was going up against had information he did not have.
Yes. They were clever. He underestimated them.
He did what she did, I will say. He did exactly what she did, and he underestimated them.
Maleficent, again, gave the good guys all the information they needed in order to defeat her.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't to say she's not terrifying. She's absolutely fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she scared me so much in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not very smart.
Nope. Not at all. That's fair. I will concede.
Okay, so what did we say?
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
Okay.
Now, that's the negative Gryffindor.
That's Gryffindor gone the fuck wrong.
On to the prince!
On to the prince. Prince Philip. Who actually has a name in the movie, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Like, that's a new thing they did.
That's new.
Something they tried.
I'm going to go and just read my notes on Prince Philip, because I know we all probably agree on what this man is. In a world full of magical beings, he has heard singing in the forest and has to see what it is. He's adventurous, he's brave, very brash, chases animals after they steal his clothing, leaps without looking, and is such a fighter.
Yeah. I put down also that he was slick and charming, because that whole line, the one line got me, where she's like, but you're a stranger, and he's like, well, but I know
Took
you.
her words and put them against her.
But we've met before.
I wanted to bring that point up as well. Oh, no, we met once before. You said it, not me.
Right? I was like, bitch.
Twisting her own words.
Love it.
Yeah, he's a Gryffindor.
Such a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
He is Godric Gryffindor as a child.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, he gets the magic sword and everything.
He does. This is true. Also, side note, what makes a sword, what was it, a virtuous sword and a truthful shield, or was it the other way around?
The sword of truth and the shield of virtue. These weapons of righteousness. They were literally quoting the freaking Bible.
Oh, good to know. It still cracks me up, because I'm like,
I thought the same thing. I was like, what?
What makes a sword truthful? Like,
you're not Wonder Woman with her lasso of truth. What are you doing?
Right? Does the sword make, like, it stabs you, and as you're dying, you have to, like, confess your deepest darkest secret?
I love
Right?
I'm gay. No.
I'm gay.
I don't understand.
Oh my gosh. I hit that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Gryffindor.
Hardcore Gryffindor. Easiest part of this movie to place.
Yeah. Aurora.
Oh god.
I also put her in Gryffindor.
I put a question mark next to this woman, so I have no idea.
I put her in, I don't know. What did you think?
I'm gonna put her in Hufflepuff Land.
Yeah?
With the rest of her counterparts?
over in that direction.
I don't see her do enough or say enough outside of singing with the animals.
I put her in Gryffindor because she meets this boy, immediately is like, yes, come to my house, despite the fact that they've been in hiding. Come to my house, goes running home to tell them all about this boy she met. She's just very brash and impulsive to me and very emotional. That's where I saw that.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, that's really all she does in the whole fucking movie.
That's literally all she does.
But, so, I put her in Hufflepuff land because she found true love, and she's a particularly good fighter. Particularly good at fighting things, like true love.
Stop!
And the she found true love.
Oh my god. Okay.
I would say that's a pretty good fight.
Oh, that is amazing. I love it.
That's beautiful and I love it. I'm sorry.
That's fantastic.
No, that's great. I can see Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I can see Gryffindor.
Yeah. As much as the Hufflepuff theory is great.
Quoting just straight from Star Kid. I'm okay with that.
Finder.
Particularly good finder.
Alright. I also have King Hubert.
Oh, I stopped. I'm done. So, yeah. King Hubert. What did you say?
I have King Hubert, Philip's father.
Oh, yes.
Who bears a very stunning resemblance to,
Cinderella's father. No.
The prince in Cinderella's father.
Yeah.
The king.
He looks
Yes. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Her father-in-law is what I meant.
Yep, he does.
Stunning resemblance to the king.
And everything that he does.
Yes.
We'll say, he looks on the bright side. This whole time, this whole day's going by, Princess Aurora hasn't shown up. He's like, dude. To Aurora's dad, calm down. Have a drink. Have some food. It's not nighttime yet. She's not even supposed to be here. Calm down, relax, have a drink. Let's go. But what's funny is he built an entire honeymoon castle for these two.
Yeah.
And they haven't even met yet.
Yeah.
He is quite ambitious in that fact. In that form.
He's just like, I know you haven't seen your daughter in 16 years, but
here's
she's gonna get married tonight.
And here's the castle I built so they can fuck all night long and make us a bunch of children.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally the point of the castle. And then, he sticks to past traditions a lot. Like, he's forcing Philip against his will. Sorry, you're not marrying some peasant girl you met in the forest. You were supposed to marry her. She's a princess, you're a prince. That's a thing. Hardcore Aladdin vibes coming on right now.
Yeah.
Those be the rules. I'm the king. I could change the rules, but I don't want to. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I put him in Slytherin.
Yeah.
I mean, ambition gets the better of him.
Every time.
Yeah, I would say Gryffindor just because he's very, like, brash and impulsive and emotional.
Very true.
But I could also see Slytherin.
His brashness and things come from his ambitions. Like, those are the reasons behind the way he acts.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
I'm sorry, but having an entire castle built when the princess isn't back home yet, they haven't even met yet, or gotten married yet, is a little over the top for me.
Yeah.
On that one.
And to be fair, Aurora's father was like, oh, you've already started building this?
Oh, no.
Built, my dear friend.
Finished.
Yeah. And that is, to be fair, that's the kind of thing that I could see someone, like, very sneakily, like, guilting someone into, like, hey, yeah, no, I already built the castle.
He's not good at it, but he's definitely attempting to be very manipulative.
Yeah, I could see it.
He's not great at it, but he definitely tries.
Minor manipulation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then nobody else really did anything in this movie of import. Like, even Aurora's dad, like, he's logical, but, like, that's all. Like, I don't really have anything else for him. Like, he misses his daughter, that's his whole arc.
Yeah. There's not really anybody else, no.
That does anything, no.
Yeah. Also, side note, did anybody else have to look up scumps?
Oh, when they were singing that stupid song?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
So it's an ancient cheers that they believe came from a Swedish word for like cheers or or I think for like drinking or something.
Mm-hmm.
I looked it up and now I'm forgetting. I looked it up and now I'm forgetting. Yeah, but I think it comes from a Swedish word and it ended up being scumps as like the cheers of like cheers to everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, that is Sleeping Beauty. Next, we have a bonus feature.
Woot woot.
Did y'all know that in 1934?
1934.
That's what I thought I had that right. In 1934, our overlords of entertainment, Disney, took a dip into some religious artifacts of old. Persephone is a canonical Disney goddess.
She is.
They had a 9-minute short back in 1934 called The Goddess of Spring.
Yes.
Focusing on the story of Aurora and our good Sir Hades.
I'm sorry, did you say Aurora?
I did, and I caught it after I did it, and I was just going to keep it rolling.
Technically, it's not Persephone either. They went based off the Roman version, so it's based in ancient Rome. The Roman version of Greek mythology, so it is the characters Proserpina, I always say that wrong, I always say Prosperina, Proserpina and Pluto, which are the Roman versions of the Greek gods Persephone and Hades.
Yep.
And the biggest difference, there's not much of a difference generally between the Greek gods and the Roman gods. They sometimes like tweaked them. There's a few of them that are really different from place to place. Mm-hmm. The biggest difference in these two between the Greek and the Roman is that Pluto becomes also the god of wealth, rather than just the god of the underworld.
Yeah, which I think they make a specific point of saying.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I don't think they make a specific point of saying, but they make a specific point of there's coins and jewels and rubies. Showing. And he gives her a diamond like the size of her head.
Yeah, showing, not saying.
Yeah.
Portraying.
They portray it very, very much hardcore in their scenes in the underworld, in Hades.
So there are really only 2 characters in this.
Yeah, which is fine. It's the main 2 characters I care about anyway.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's start with our main chick.
Proserpina.
What?
Proserpina.
Proserpina, thank you.
I might be saying that wrong, sorry.
I'm going to keep calling her Persephone. That's how I knew her, and we're going to have so much fun talking about this because me and you have some words for Disney on this one.
We do.
So let's go through the quick, it's a 9-minute short, but the quick review of it is...
Quick review of it is, Proserpina is sitting in a meadow with all of her little meadow friends. She is very happy. She is this spring queen. Yeah. And all of a sudden, out bursts the devil, Hades.
Literally the devil.
Literally the devil, Pluto. Pops out the ground and is like, bitch, I'm gonna kidnap you. Throws her over his shoulder.
Yep.
Brings her back down to the underworld. And then when she won't stop crying, he is bewildered. Why will you not stop crying? I only kidnapped you down to this world of darkness and death.
And I'm making you stay here for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And is basically like, I will give you anything if you will stop crying. And she says, please let me go home. And he says, I'll make you a deal. You get to go home for 6 months, but then you have to come back for 6 months. You can trade off. And she says, deal. And so they agree, and she goes back up, and spring comes, and winter is over.
And yeah, that important thing. It's snowing, and there is a giant blizzard the whole time she's down there.
Yeah, pretty much. Spring ends when the spring goddess sinks into the underworld.
Descends into the below.
Yes. And that's basically the whole story.
Yep. Here we go.
I have a lot of words.
I am with you on this one.
I have a lot of words, a lot of concerns. First of all,
inaccurate.
Pluto and Hades are not the devil.
They rule the underworld. They are the god of the dead. That's it.
They're not even technically, Pluto and Hades aren't even the god of death. They're just the god of the underworld. The god of death is
they're the landlord.
They're the landlord. They are the landlord.
That's why I specifically call them the god of the dead, not the god of death.
Yes.
There is a difference.
There is a big difference. Like, dear Lord.
The difference is the name of
the god of death, whose name I am pulling up because I forget it. It's not Thanos. I want to say it's not fucking Thanos. I feel like they picked Thanos' name because it was similar to this dude's name. And of course, my computer is choosing now to freeze, so I'm gonna try it on my phone.
We can also just like edit this part out.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Thanatos.
It's Thanatos, yeah.
The god of death is Thanatos. Like he is the actual god of death, and
Literally
is
the death.
Hades is the landowner. He is the landlord. He's
the
god
manager.
of underworld. Exactly.
He collects payment. He tells you when you're due.
That's all it is.
Pretty much. He doesn't even have a collect payment. He has a guy for that.
Yeah.
He is literally
That one I know.
just
That was
the
Karen.
manager of the underworld because Zeus, his dick of an older brother,
Yeah.
scraped him down there.
To be fair, they drew lots.
That's fair. That is fair.
We don't know if Zeus was cheating. I wouldn't put it past him, but they drew lots.
Look, Zeus, Thundercock, god of the world, god of Olympus, definitely cheated so he could stay where he was. All right.
Yeah, you're kind of right. He is a lot. But so yeah, in the original mythos, first of all, Pluto is not the devil. That's not how that works.
Nope.
He does not have little demon devils, and there's no fire.
But
The
Christianity
But Christianity.
is a thing.
The underworld was also very not fiery. It was like cold.
Yeah, the underworld was not hell. There's no fire.
No. Also, in the original mythology, there were more characters involved.
Yeah.
It wasn't Persephone herself or Proserpina. So we're just gonna go.
I'm going with Persephone because that's what everybody knows her as.
Okay, we'll go with Persephone. It wasn't Persephone that made the deal with Hades. It was actually her mother Demeter went to Zeus
That was a mistake.
and said, "Hey, like, bitch, this guy just stole my kid."
Your brother kidnapped my daughter. Do something about it.
Yeah. And so they made the deal where Zeus went down and was like, "I'm going to bring her home." And Hades went, "Well, she can't leave because she ate here." And that's one of the rules is that when you're in another realm, if you eat, you're like linked to the land.
Yep.
But she only ate 6 pomegranate seeds, so she had to stay for 6 months.
Yep.
So that's the deal. And that's how spring and winter came to be, was when the goddess comes back to life, spring returns, and the plant life grows. Then when she goes back to her husband, everything dies. Last thing is, and this is something that, to be fair, they couldn't really show in this story. Because, yeah, in this story, he didn't quite kidnap her in the original mythos. He
Or
lured her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
There's
kind
a
of...
dip. Still bad,
Still bad.
but there's a difference.
There's a difference. He put out, like, some flowers and, like, tricked her.
Yeah.
Versus, like, outright, like, throwing her over his shoulder.
And white vanning it all the way back down to Hades. All the way back down to the underworld.
There's a difference. And she wasn't happy about it, but,
No.
like, she learned to live with their situation. It was a different time, and so on and so forth, and moving on.
Yep.
They can't really show this in the short, to be fair,
Nope.
but if they kind of skipped over the implication that Persephone and Hades
Hit it
ended
off real
up
well.
they ended up being like the most functionally stable couple in the entire Greek and Roman mythos.
If you ever look at the stories of Greek mythology, it is a fustercluck. Alright?
It is a shit show.
Zeus? I call him Zeus Thundercock for a reason. This guy, the god of all gods and the god of thunder and lightning, goes down to earth multiple times as a cow, as a man,
As a goose.
As a goose? I forgot about the goose!
I love the goose.
To just fuck as much as he can.
Yep.
That is all he wants, and that is all he does. To the ever-loving chagrin of his wife Hera, and through her hatred and revenge, every other human living on the planet.
Yeah. So, yeah, they end up being, like, the most functional, stable, loving couple
Oh, God.
in the entire Greek mythos.
It's
So
true.
it's a rocky start, but they end up learning to love each other, and it's more, part of it, too, they show Hades is really, like, aggressive and assertive. He's very, like, not, almost socially awkward
Yes.
in the original stories. He's very much a loner. He's very much not a people person.
The only people around him are all dead, so how would you act?
Exactly. So that was more the kind of implication that was put forward by the original mythos was this idea that it's not that he was attempting to kidnap her, it's that he didn't know how to get her attention other than luring her down into his world.
Yeah.
So, better.
Still creepy.
Still creepy.
Stalkerish. Still
creepy. Still stalkerish. But they did end up being a more functional, stable couple in the end. And I'm assuming she slapped him upside the head for his
multiple times. And in the theories and the stories that I follow of these two, Persephone would definitely be more likely to be the one to throw Hades over her shoulder and make him do whatever the hell she wanted him to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the ones that I have read and followed upon because I love the story of Persephone being this boss-ass bitch.
She was amazing. She was phenomenal. I love Persephone. She's the best.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing. So
that's our spill.
That's our spill for that.
So, unfortunately, we do have to go off of the story that we watched from Disney.
Yes.
What do you got?
Proserpina.
Yep.
I have a big fat question mark because she doesn't do anything.
She does shit.
She begs and cries. She doesn't try to escape. So I can't say she's definitely not a Gryffindor.
She's not a Gryffindor.
I'd say she's not a Slytherin either. She's not very
Slytherin.
practical.
No.
She did not once try to escape. She just begged and cried and pleaded.
She's a Hufflepuff. She's the goddess of spring and summer. Come on.
Yeah, she's
what other house would you put that in?
Very hippy-dippy.
Yeah. And she is very hardworking. She does, tend to the garden, to the
plants.
plants.
She does all the work by herself. She has a bunch of friends and people, but she does all the work by herself.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
She's a Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Pluto.
Unfortunately.
Oh, no, I think we're going to put different things. I put him as a Gryffindor.
I have to agree.
Oh, okay.
I have to wholeheartedly agree.
Because this dude is like, I'm going to just jump out.
With the way he came out is the most extra thing I've seen.
It was amazing.
This dude just blows a hole through the freaking garden with flames everywhere.
Flames on the side of my face.
Great. His demons, for lack of a better word, pop out with him, are dancing along while he just runs up to Proserpina, throws her over his shoulders, goes back down with flames ablaze, and just drops back into hell. It's amazing. He's a Gryffindor.
It's fantastic, and he's very much a Gryffindor. He's 1,000% a Gryffindor. He's just so much.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot for 9 minutes. It was pretty great.
It really was.
Because it was very much an opera, too. Because they're singing everything that happens.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a silly symphony.
That's why, yeah.
It was a silly symphony short. So they produced, back in the day, they used to produce these little, and I think they still,
I don't know if they produce one, but my wife might have, because she's more Disney than I am.
Yeah. I don't know if they do these silly symphonies, which are like little shorts based off of different music. Mm-hmm. And this was part of one of them. So it was a 9-minute short in one of the silly symphonies that was a little earlier.
Fair enough.
And so, yeah, this one was operatic.
Yeah,
very and it was operatic. Sorry, and it was phenomenal. It was really good. It was really well done,
especially for the 30s.
Yeah, no, it was gorgeous. It just did not follow the original mythology at all.
That's our only gripe, because it actually was a lot of fun to watch. Because I didn't know it was a thing until I started doing my research for these movies, and lo and behold, the first Disney thing that I could find was from 1934. When it comes to princesses, anyway.
Yeah.
Was Persephone. And it was really great.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
I am happy I found that, because that was fun.
Yeah, no, it was. And with that,
woo,
we have our final list.
Let's do it.
So,
hats out of the bag.
Our final section of each podcast, which we will be finally going over a quick review or a quick summary of the whole podcast, giving you the final landings of each character.
So, in Gryffindor, we have Grumpy, Prince Florian, Prince Charming, the evil stepsisters, Gus Gus, Flora, Merryweather, Maleficent, Prince Philip, Aurora, and Pluto.
Yep.
In Ravenclaw, we have the Fairy Godmother and the Grand Duke. Not a lot of Ravenclaws this time around.
Nope.
In Hufflepuff, we have the Huntsman, Dopey, Snow White, Cinderella, Bruno, Fauna, and Prosperina.
Yep.
And in Slytherin, we have Doc, the Evil Queen, Jack, Lady Tremaine, Lucifer, the King from Cinderella, and King Hubert from Sleeping Beauty.
It's actually a pretty good list.
It's a pretty good list.
It's a really mixed up list. It's not, it's good. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we did pretty good for these guys.
I look forward to our next one.
Which will be...
We'll be going over, we're starting in the Renaissance age, which is going to be starting with the 1989 hit of Little Mermaid, followed by Sleeping Beauty, which I believe came out in 1991. And then we also have Aladdin, which came out in 1994.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
We'll look it up. We'll have
more information later, but I'm pretty sure those are the years that I remember seeing those when I looked that up. So
I don't know if we said this earlier. We're gonna go through the princesses, the official the princess list
in that order
first, in the order.
Yep.
So we're not. This isn't all the Disney movies. This is all the Disney princesses.
Yeah. So we're starting off with the princesses, then moving on to a different subject matter. Once we get through all those, which should probably only be about 4 shows, I believe, because there's not actually a whole lot of official Disney princesses. There's a lot of them that aren't considered as such, which I would love to do a podcast on that as well.
I mean, yeah.
Touching on Kida from Atlantis, or
Megara from Hercules.
Meg from Hercules. Vanellope Von Sweet from Wreck-It Ralph is technically a princess in her own game.
She's a queen.
She's actually the queen. Which, again, I would love to just go over those as well. So
yeah,
we'll do those. We'll go through all the princesses and the orders, and then we'll have our little bonus one at the end, and we'll move on from there.
And that will always be a surprise.
Woo! So thank you guys for joining us and listening in to our very first edition of Hats Off.
So this is Ron.
I'm Luna.
I'm Hermione.
Signing off.
Hats off to you all.